Welcome to another edition of Did You Hear?
Your Library Insider.
Where we often will talk, but today we do.
We will make.
We will make. You know why? Because it's the Make-Along episode.
Yeah.
Episode. And that means people will be joining us from the MakerSpace. They will bring supplies. We'll list those supplies on the website.
We will.
And then you too can make along.
You are listening to Did You Hear?
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 Johnson County Library Podcast.
With hosts Dave Carson and Charles Howard.
We are coming to you
from the Central Resource Library
in
Overland Park, Kansas.
This is your Library Insider.
Welcome to the Make-Along. Oh, that sounded good. Well, today we have two of the MakerSpace facilitators. Shall we have them introduce themselves? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brian Ortel. I'm a MakerSpace facilitator here at the Johnson County Library.
Hi, my name is Lydia, and I am a MakerSpace facilitator here at the Johnson County Library as well.
Well, welcome, and we're going to be doing the Make-Along in just a few moments. Hopefully, you have checked our website. You've seen all of the ingredients and supplies that are needed for the Make-Along activity, and you can make along with us. But before we do that, a little bit of MakerSpace information. Let's do this as a game show. 3 contestants with wild prizes. Which may not be true.
Bragging rights.
What's that?
Bragging rights, right?
Yeah. Intrinsic motivation.
That's true.
All right. So, question number 1. When was the MakerSpace conceived?
That's a good question.
I have an unfair
Everybody
advantage.
lock in your guesses on your... See, people can't see, so we can lie as much as we want. So
That's true.
We have these monitors that are kind of set up like Jeopardy. And so if you would just write with your light pen your answer, and we'll just go around and let's start with you, Brian. What year did the MakerSpace begin?
2014.
Ooh, that's a good guess. Lydia?
So I know that the MakerSpace, I'm thinking 2016, and I could be wrong.
That is a good guess as well.
I think I'm going to go a little earlier. $1? Is that acceptable? I'll go 2011.
2011. Okay. The actual answer is 2013.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Brian, you were working here at that time, as was I. And I remember there was like a meeting room that was kind of in the middle of the library behind the reference desk. And half of it was an office for the reference desk librarians. And then the other half housed adaptive
There was
assistive technology.
Yeah, before computers did a lot of this, there was some ADA technologies, so screen readers and things like that. That kind of technology was in that room. So we got to take that over at that time and turn it into a makerspace.
Okay. And if I remember at that time, it's not like it was today. So let's run down a list of equipment and see if it's true or false. Was there a 3D printer at the time? True or yes or no, I guess.
True, yes.
What do you say?
yes.
True.
Okay, that is true. Okay, what about a video camera?
I was there, so true, but maybe false. Maybe I could be lying.
You know, I'm going to copy Brian. I'm going to go with true as well.
Okay.
I'll say false just to mix things up.
No, it was true. And
Man.
there were a couple Macs in there that you could use. What about a CNC router? Let's start with Charles.
Reverse the directions.
Let's get with the person who actually knows.
I'm going to say false.
False.
Yeah.
Yes, false.
Yeah. And in fact, I would think that things like laser printer and the CNC router and all of those types of things, probably the reason why we got out of the middle of the library and took over what used to be the old Carmack meeting room space to create it's new to me. It's been around for almost 10 years now. So, but that's housed our MakerSpace.
And how much of that was available and widespread enough? Like I see MakerSpaces all over the place now. A lot of people have lasers. A lot of them have CNCs. How much of that change is like going to that larger space, and how much of that is just the technology is more affordable or more available?
Well, I'm not sure I quite get the question. Sorry, Charles.
That's okay.
But we were one of the first libraries to have a MakerSpace. There were a handful of other libraries in the United States that had MakerSpaces, and one down in Arkansas, Chicago, and a few across the country. But we were one of the first to start our small MakerSpace at that time.
Very cool.
Yeah, I remember Dave Hansen, who used to work here as the system-wide manager. I remember he used to come back to the web content area and he'd be talking about, wouldn't it be great to have an area in the library where people could come in and they could edit videos or they could record audio, things like that. Like if they have a band, there would be a place they could record their band. And we had So I wonder how you all refer to this, because you've got the pre-Carmack room MakerSpace. I don't know what you would call that. Call it Genesis or whatever. I don't know. Version 1. And then there's kind of version 2, which was up until the Central Resource Library renovation. And you know what? We could call that the Orange Era, because the walls were orange. But now they're gray. Does that make you happy?
That orange was a bit intense. So yeah, we are happy to have a lot of new, faster machinery in our gray MakerSpace, but it's a soothing gray. It's a nice space to be in.
Yeah. So I'm more interested in talking about what you have and what you don't have. But you used to have an audio recording booth and kind of a green screen room. Was it did that just present some challenges?
Yeah, we had our green screen room and our sound booth. Part of the green screen room was taken over by the remodel, so we now have our drive-through window that used to be where our green screen room area was. And our sound booth, the MakerSpace is loud, so it was not a soundproof room, so it was hard to get good quality sound out of that sound booth. So now it houses a large CNC that makes lots of noise, but it's contained in the room, so it made sense for us.
Yeah, that makes total sense to repurpose that space. And, these days, anybody can really turn any little room that they want into their own personal audio recording space. And
Yeah, we see national talk shows, the guests are sometimes in their closets. So, there are professionals in closets recording. So, you can make do.
Yeah, I think especially as more equipment becomes higher quality that you can purchase at a lower price, more accessible to more people. Yeah. I think that kind of has opened up the door, like you said, to set up your at-home recording areas and things like that. And as the MakerSpace, I feel like we kind of have to be adapting to what's new and what people can't access.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. And, as far as video goes, I think green screens are kind of becoming obsolete because the software has gotten so good that you can choose chroma key colors other than green. And as long as you have a solid kind of color behind you, you're going to be fine. And honestly, I'm sure that probably won't even matter soon, because I know using Photoshop, they've gotten really good at picking out your subject and taking it away from your background. I'm sure video is, just inches away from being able to do that as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of colors, I see a few different colors of, is that clay out here on the table? Yeah, looks
Yes.
like some different clay.
Yeah. So we're going to do the make-along.
You want to jump in?
Let's make along.
Yeah.
Lead the way. We will follow.
All right. So we have, a selection of polymer clays out here. We talk about a lot of our equipment, and it's great. You can get final products out of a lot of our equipment, but also our equipment, the 3D printers and laser cutters, can be used to make tools for other arts. So that's what we're doing here today. Lydia, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've engraved?
Sure. So one of the things that we wanted to highlight was kind of how you can use our machines to make tools that can be used over and over again. So we, one of the things that we played around with was engraving texture onto pieces of acrylic. So we got some fun little patterns and things like that we will use to roll the clay onto. Okay. But that was one way that we kind of were playing around with the idea of texture. Another way that we tried was creating like little dowels, kind of like rolling pins, and engraving them with our rotary engraver.
Yeah.
And kind of, similar patterns and kind of just creating different texture. So one of them is wood, one of them is plastic. You get some different effects from both of them,
Yeah.
So
these began as pieces of plastic. They're not 3D printed. Okay. So these then went under like a laser etcher?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the idea is you can put the clay on top of those.
Yeah, so you can use that clay or use that plastic to roll the clay into the embossment, essentially, or use the rolling pin and just the table and emboss that texture onto the clay. Lydia, I think you drew all these patterns. We have a nice leaf pattern with some stars. I think I did an abstract one there, one that might be inspired by Hello Kitty.
So this one's kind of more. What material is this?
Yeah,
Brian made that one.
Yeah, that's a silicone. So
Okay, silicone.
we tried a few different materials out to see. We are not polymer clay experts by any means, but we had fun experimenting using our tools to create these other tools here. So yeah, it's a silicone. So it does make it easy to release the clay from.
This takes me back to my Mr. Rogers day, and I want to talk to the kids at home. It's like, just think, what could you do at home? What textures could you find in your home?
Exactly. Yeah, we've been thinking about that. I jokingly said you could use my beard for a texture, but I don't know if that would work really. But there are textures around the house, maybe some brick or some wood.
Yeah, these little dowels are pretty great. So. What amazes me, though, is this is the same concept as your pieces of plastic that you put your pattern into through laser etching. But this is a round surface. How difficult is that to achieve the engraving in?
So the main thing that I had to think about when I was designing that was that it was a repeating pattern, and I wanted it to be seamless. I didn't want you to have like a point where you could see the seam. So a lot of precision measuring is the trick.
Yeah, and we have a rotary tool, so you can engrave flat goods in the laser cutter, but we have a rotary tool that will slowly turn the round or cylindrical object as the laser passes across it, so you can wrap it around coffee tumblers, wine glasses, or in this case, dowels.
Okay, so I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then you can select your color of polymer clay there and start kneading it. You'll want to knead that clay, make it pliable, and then we'll roll it using some 3D printed spacers that we have.
Okay.
Yes. Polymer clay, when you first, especially if it's been sitting for a while, it's fresh out of the package, it's going to be really hard. So you have to, make it, knead it in your hands, make it soft.
Yeah, start to warm it up.
Does it say anything about you, which color of clay you choose?
Don't think so.
Yes. So that's why we're judging.
I'm sure that, somebody...
People with
knows the
superior
psychology
taste
of color. I chose the blue. What does that say about me?
It means you like blue.
Whoa.
My color is listed as light pink or rose.
AKA the best color. So
Yeah.
that is the correct answer, actually.
Okay.
It's like I'm winning already.
Is this a competition? I'm not sure.
So you should just need a small amount, maybe the size of a. Oh gosh, I don't even, smaller than a ping pong ball. What should I say there?
I would say like a thumb size.
Thumb size,
Like
thumbnail.
This amount? Like,
Yeah.
so it's about a gumball, perhaps.
Yeah, gumball.
Yeah.
All right. So are we rolling it, or we're just trying to loosen it up?
Yeah, you're trying to heat it up,
Okay.
Work it a little bit, squeeze it, trying to get it so it's going to be workable and work itself into the texture.
Okay. And I should point out there are things on the table here that are making me nervous. We've got baby powder and we've got petroleum jelly.
Yeah, one of the interesting challenges of polymer clay is that after it is like heat warmed up, it is very sticky.
Oh,
So
okay.
on things like plastic and wood, which is what we were using, we were finding that it would kind of get stuck in there. So we
Gotcha.
we brought some baby powder, which if you put on your surface kind of helps it not adhere to that surface. And then the petroleum jelly. This is more if you were putting something in a mold. It really helps release it, but it's also very greasy.
And
Your clay will never
not
be the
good on
same.
toast whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, so once you have your clay, work to a nice consistency that feels workable, we'll use one of our other dowels that we cut down. A lot of polymer clay artists use acrylic rods for rolling pins. We didn't have that, so we have a dowel here that we spray painted with some shellac, so hopefully that'll keep it nice and smooth, and you'll be able to roll out between two spacers that we have 3D printed. So those spacers will keep it a consistent thickness when you roll it.
All right. So do we want to? Are we putting baby powder down before we roll it? Or?
The table should be okay. It's more when you're actually trying to adhere it to the tools that I found that it's really wanting to stick.
I don't know if you want to use that table, Dave, that has some microphones. Although maybe not. That might be an interesting...
It's already a disaster. People are going to come into this meeting room. It's like, why is there blue clay over everything?
So we're using like 3D printed spacers, which are just like long rectangular objects. But you could use stuff like cards, some cardstock, anything like that. Basically, you'll put your clay in the middle, your two flat rectangular pieces on either side, and then you will use your roller
Yes.
to roll it down.
This is similar to a lot of pastry making, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, similar idea.
Don't eat it, Charles.
Looks like bubble gum.
Well, it kind of reminded. So I'm the old fella in the room, but do you all remember what the heck was it called now? Silly putty.
Silly putty, yeah.
Yeah.
I also remember silly putty.
Yeah.
And newsprint, and you spread out the silly putty, put it on the newsprint, and you could transfer those.
Yeah.
designs.
You could. Especially like the Sunday comics, they're all bright and fun, and you could get your favorite comic character and put the silly putty down on top of it, and then you could stretch them all crazy shapes. So I'll catch up. I'm okay. So Charles has
I've got mine flattened.
You got yours flattened. I think I was already pretty good. You know what? I should probably fold it back over. It's a disaster here, to be honest with you. I got mine pressed down too far.
Oh, now there's going to be air bubbles, but that's all right.
okay.
We won't judge too much.
Yeah, the spacers really just help with you getting like an even roll, and also, not going too thin or having it too thick.
Yeah, we should say the next step, we are going to be rolling it on a texture, either using a dowel to texture it or put it on one of the laser engraved pieces of acrylic or silicone to emboss that texture into the material. And then we're going to be using some 3D printed, basically like cookie cutouts to cut out the shape that you'd want.
Yeah, and one of the things we were talking about was like shapes that you could use at home. We were thinking like bottle caps, cups, anything that's small could like press in,
Yeah. Different dried pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just use a knife of some sort to cut whatever shape you'd like. At home, I didn't have a cookie cutter small enough, so I got a roll of tape, put it on top of the clay, and then drew with a pencil the circle of the interior of the tape dispenser, and then used a knife to trim. So, but
and if it's a younger listener out there, make sure that you have parental supervision for whichever knife.
Did I say butter knife? I said butter.
Butter knife.
Butter knife. So in the end, is this kind of like an exercise and just something that's very temporary, and in the end it gets wadded back up and put back with the rest of the clay, or is this like permanent? That it
can be ephemeral, and you could just keep working the clay forever. But it also is oven dried clay, so you can set it, put it in the oven for like at 275. Well, I guess different clays might have different temperatures, but 275 for about 30 minutes, and that will.
Oh yeah.
I would consult your clay's packaging.
Okay. What are you going to choose there, Charles?
I like this design with the leaves on it, like the vines and stars and circles. Okay. A lot of cool stuff going on.
I've got one with a lot of. This is a dowel rod, and you've got the flat.
I've got the flat rectangular piece. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some stars and circles, and so I guess I'm just going to roll it right over.
Yeah, you'll want to use firm pressure, and you can't re-roll that one. So with that one, you need to be really careful. So let's see what we can do.
I think I'm doing it. Oh! Look at that.
Nice work. So on this one,
Charles is impressed, but I feel like I let Brian down.
Yeah, you could press it in.
I've not done it that way. Have you done it that way?
Yeah, it turned out pretty okay.
So pretty okay. Charles is pressing the laser engraved stamp onto the top. What I've done a lot is have my flat sheet of clay and put it on top, and then roll it again with a dowel to kind of push it into the surface. Oh my gosh, it's
stuck though. You know, the funny thing is the pink looks like bubble gum, and it really stuck like bubble gum, didn't it? How did it turn out?
I think I could have done better at my evenness of my pressing.
Do you think he could have used the dowel on top of that? Is that?
You could put it on top and use the dowel.
Ooh.
Yeah, the clay's pretty forgiving. So, if you don't get a good impression at first, you should be able to use it again and flatten it out again.
I'm gonna do round 2. All right, so I got my little piece of clay. Just working it. See, I'm a pro already.
Yeah, you just
working
need a little practice.
Bit, just getting a little heat from the hands. Okay, then I'm gonna put it in between my spacers for the roller. And Charles, could you pass me the?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
Charles, you having trouble?
Yeah, having trouble. I think the
How'd you
pattern's
get it in your
better.
hair?
Oh no!
Stop eating it.
Okay, that's better. I thought mine was going to stick.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, I think I got it a little too thin as I was rolling it onto the top, but
it would make a nice dainty pair of earrings.
There we go.
Yeah, so there's a lot of polymer clay artists you can see on Instagram and on Etsy and Pinterest, all the places, but they're making some really cool earrings out of polymer clay. So you can make earrings. Today we have some pin backs, so you can make your own little pendant if you'd like.
Yeah, but you noticed how it was kind of sticking into your mold there. Mm-hmm. That's where sometimes adding that little bit of baby powder on top of the mold helps it not want to stick in forever.
Need that mold release.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is like a Hello Kitty?
It's similar to Hello Kitty. You'll notice the bow is on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Has a different number of whiskers.
Totally.
Legally distinct kitty.
Now, so
salutations, cat.
I've got my rolled out piece of polymer clay here, and it's beautiful. So I've got this piece of silicone then, and do I want to press it to the top, or do I want to roll my clay on top of?
I've had better luck putting your polymer clay on top of the mold and then using the smooth dowel to roll across it a few times, really pressing pretty firmly.
Okay.
And then you'll hopefully get a nice texture there. Hopefully. Let's see.
I like that silence.
The silence.
The anticipation. Okay, I've rolled it across the mold. I'm picking up the mold. I'm flipping it over. I've got the clay. Oh, it's coming off nice off that silicone. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Are you jealous?
That looks really nice.
Thank you. I really. It even picked up the little dots. So we have the cat head with a bow, but there's also some little dots that were little textural types of things. They're really small.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it picked it up.
Yeah, with the laser you can engrave super small, so you can get a lot of really crisp detail with the laser engraver.
Okay.
And what do you have to do to make that file for the laser? Do you hand draw it and
There's multiple ways. You do have to have a digital file to send it to the laser. My process was just in Illustrator. It's a vector design program, drawing out those shapes and then using the repeat function in Illustrator to make a pattern. Lydia, you might have a different process.
Yeah, so I kind of did a pen and paper, my idea, took a picture of it and traced it in Illustrator, and from there I used a pattern tool, which kind of was a tool that allows me to create like the repeating pattern. So
Neat.
same results,
Very
different
cool.
processes.
Yeah. Okay, so if we wanted to take this a step further, we could.
Yeah, the next step, we have 3D printed, like cookie cutter type shapes. We have a star, a moon, a circle, and then you'll essentially just be cutting out whatever shape you'd like from the clay.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take the star for my stars here because I've got two. I've got my not Hello Kitty, but cat head background, repeating background. And now I've got this star cookie cutter.
And the moon one here even has extra patterning inside the
Ooh,
cookie
look at
cutter.
that.
Yeah, so that was another technique we played around with, was using our resin printer, which is a 3D printer that obviously makes it in resin, and it can get really high detail. So we were able to get a lot of like those little leaves and stars showing up in the resin.
Neat. Okay, so I'm going to press my star into my star patterned clay and pulling up. Oh, look at that. It's just like making cookies.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. I got 2 out of mine.
Charles,
So if I
It
wanted to
turned
make
out so good.
star, yeah,
Yeah,
star, and you got yours out. No problem at all.
I did.
Oh, it pulls away nice and easily. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so from here, you could either use a small tool to put holes in these for earrings or jewelry of some sort, or just leave it as it is, that circle, and we have these pin backs that we would glue on the back after we bake them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure we don't get rid of all this and take some photos for
Yeah.
people that want to see this. And, of course, you can do this yourself if you make along, and you'll have it to look at right in front of you.
It's true.
Can you pass me... let's try
Try
that
the
one.
circle?
Yeah. I got to cut out my kitty cat one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, from here, after you're done cutting out your shape, you would just pop that in the oven.
Very cool.
I don't know if we can do that here at the library. They say you shouldn't use the same oven you cook with this clay, but
Okay.
I don't think we should use the break room oven. I don't know.
Well, I don't think we use the break room that often for food, like the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see this. So I paint miniatures, and I could see this easily being used for, like, if you're running a Dungeons and Dragons campaign and you have figures for that, and you want like cobblestone bases underneath your guys because they're running around in some old-timey English city. You could do like cobblestone bases custom made for your models.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The circles kind of remind me of like little coins, so You could be the least popular person on your block for Halloween, and instead of handing out candy, you can just make little homemade coins.
Or the most popular.
Or the most popular.
In addition to the candy, you can add it to the candy.
Yeah, add it to the candy, sure.
But don't put it inside the candy.
No. What? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that was the make-along.
That was the make-along.
So tell us, we would love for people to come visit the MakerSpace and work on different projects with you all. Do you have some resources for people that want to just do some stuff at home? Would the website be the place for that?
Yeah, we can put something. Yes, we're putting something together with things that people can do from home. We'll have what we used, but maybe give some analogs like we talked about. Instead of a cookie cutter, use a small glass or a knife, or for textures, you can find things around the house. So yeah, we'll put something together for the website.
And boy, during the whole COVID time, you guys started doing a whole lot of programs online. And anything you want to highlight while we have you here that's coming up?
The next event we have coming up is full. So it is our make and take. So we have 3 different projects people can get supplies for. They registered online, and we're going to send those out. There will be more take and makes in the fall, so I would look forward to that.
Yeah.
And of course, just always, you can come into the MakerSpace, reserve time through the website to use the laser cutter or 3D printer or any of our equipment, from sewing machines to sergers and final cutters, and all the tools we have are available free to use. You just sign up for time on the website.
Yeah. So just go to the MakerSpace page. You'll always see the events there, and you see all of the equipment. And is there something you specialize on, Lydia? Or are you?
So I have been working in MakerSpaces for like the past year or so.
Okay.
So I come from a MakerSpace, and
Neat.
my background is digital illustration and like 3D modeling and things like that.
Oh, that's great. And then Brian, you have a background in art as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have a printmaking background, so I like using technology and making art with it. So
We all love to learn, and we all love to make. So
Very cool.
we all work out here well at the library. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. So I don't know about you, Dave, but I thought that was a lot of fun.
Fun was had.
Fun was had, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any day that you come to work and you get to, think about all the ways we made today. We had the MakerSpace folks come in and make, but we get to make a podcast, which involves setting up microphones and all of that. And it's not just recording it. We've got to edit and do all that, but it's all part of the wonderful experience of making something.
That's true. And there's so many ways that you can make it. If you thought this was a fun project, I would encourage people to continue doing polymer clay. But if you thought, oh, well, maybe this isn't for me, there's still plenty of other ways to be creative and make every day of your life.
Yeah, and, we'd encourage you to go to the MakerSpace website on the Johnson County Library website, where there are all kinds of suggestions and tutorials and things like that. Or just come into the MakerSpace and tour around. The MakerSpace facilitators, as you heard today, they're super friendly, and they want to help you kind of explore and grow your skills and try some different things.
Right. And speaking of resources and growing skills, next month we have an episode coming up where we're talking about back to school and the resources and skills that you can gain through the library for students of all ages.
I see what you did there. That was called a transition, and it was slick.
Thanks. I've been using that petroleum gel on my transitions.
This is like not your first rodeo at all. But yeah, Charles is right. So what do you say we just kind of plan to meet back here in a month and record that?
Yep. Hope to see everybody back then.
Take care. Stay cool.
This is your Library Insider.
Did you
Did you hear?